This video is going to be about the results that I've seen after 60 days of doing daily Dispenza meditations. And I will usually do a 15 to 30 minute meditation once or twice a day. I'm going to link all the meditations that I do below, and I kind of just switch off between them. You don't need to spend thousands of dollars on retreats or spend hours and hours every day, or even an hour every day, to see results from these meditations. I feel like I'm already seeing really amazing results in my life, and I want to prove to you that you don't have to spend a penny and you don't have to spend hours every day. If you haven't watched my video about my results after 30 days of meditating, I would go watch that first. In my last video, I mentioned that I was basically about to run out of money, but I had faith that it would all work out, and it did. I ended up getting a couple $1,000s from my old job. I guess they had allocated tips incorrectly and they owed me money. And so right when I needed it, I got a couple $1,000s from my old job that I was not expecting at all. And that was enough for me to cover rent for another month and to cover groceries and to have everything that I need. And you could say that's just a coincidence that my job just owed me money, but I really had no clue that this was a thing that could even happen. And I feel like it was manifestation and pretty amazing to just get a couple $1,000s you weren't expecting from a job that I literally didn't even work at anymore. So although I haven't manifested wealth or extreme amounts of money, I always have had what I need and more than enough to survive. And it's really all about perspective. You could view it as I'm unemployed, I have no money, I have all these medical bills, I'm running out of money. But I chose to view it as this whole time I've had enough. I've had enough to cover what I need. Somehow I'm still surviving. Somehow I always have enough, and I'm always protected and provided for and abundant. And it's really important to shift your perspective, because no matter what your situation is, there's always two ways you could view it, and there's always someone who would be grateful to be in your position. And so try to see it from that perspective, because it can be really easy to always just want more and more and more and never be satisfied with what you have. Also, just know that money can come from anywhere. It can come from very unexpected places. It doesn't have to make logical sense how the money is going to come to you. I was not expecting that money at all. I was not thinking that was a possibility of how I was going to get the money. But manifesting is all about the what and not the how, and you want to focus on the emotions. So don't worry about how it's going to come to you or if it's a possibility, because it will come to you, and there's always a way for it to come to you. And you can imagine it coming to you in a certain way while you're meditating if that's what helps you to feel that emotion. But really, it's all about whatever emotion you're feeling, because that's what you're bringing into your life, is something that matches that emotion. The main reason that I started meditating was for my health, and I feel like my health has improved gradually. There are some days where my meditations are so good that I feel like I'm just completely healed. But then I start trying to see am I gonna have a symptom? And I think if I was really healed, I would just trust it and believe it and not try to test it. But I think I'm learning to know that it's always coming to me, even if it's not happening in that moment. I just stay in that energy of this is coming to me, this is already mine in the future. Instead of wanting to heal immediately and have immediate results, I just stay in that positive energy of knowing that it's coming to me, knowing that it's already mine. Because I think I was struggling because I would get myself into a really good mind state of, oh, I'm gonna manifest this is gonna happen, I see it happening, I feel it happening. And then my external reality would not reflect that. And then I would kind of fall out of that positive emotion just a little bit. But now I'm learning it's not about the immediate results. It's just knowing that somewhere it's out there and it's coming to me and it's on its way to me. But my symptoms are gradually improving for sure. I'm becoming less sensitive to things and having symptoms way less often. And a lot of times when I start meditating, I'll become really aware of certain uncomfortable sensations in my body, because I'm just, really present and in that moment, and it's easier to become aware of whatever symptoms you're having, even if they are little ones. But I've noticed that by the end of every meditation, they're pretty much gone. So sometimes when I start meditations, I'll have a racing heart or chest pain. And so when I start meditating, I'll become really aware of those feelings because I'm being present. But I've noticed that by the end of my meditations, my symptoms are always gone and I always feel so much better. So I feel like that's pretty amazing. Another thing that I've noticed that I wasn't trying to manifest at all, but has changed in my life, is I get so many compliments from everyone. It feels like every time I see someone, they're complimenting me. And I did lose weight and get a tan, but I feel like it's really excessive the amount of compliments that I get lately. And I think part of that is just, you know, when you're like in a higher vibration, you just come across as more attractive. Like, I don't think you necessarily need to have any physical changes in your appearance to come off as more attractive to people after meditating. And that's something I was not like aiming for at all or like trying to manifest. So that's probably why it like came so easily, because that really happened like right away after I started meditating. But if that's something that you want and that you're looking for, I've definitely seen results like in that area of my life. Like, I've seriously never gotten so many compliments in my life. Also, one of my YouTube videos is at like 10,000 views now, which I know is not a lot by YouTube standards, but I think that's pretty amazing. They say your first 50 videos are like just for yourself and they're not gonna get any views. So the fact that that video got 10,000 views is like really amazing to me. And it makes me really happy to know that I'm helping people and that I'm like putting positive content out. And I definitely don't have perfect meditations. I definitely have wandering thoughts a lot, sometimes negative thoughts. Sometimes I'll restart the meditation if I'm like really distracted and try to redo it, but it doesn't matter if your meditations are perfect. It's really just about being consistent and doing them anyway and still knowing that they're having a positive effect. I made a whole video talking more about this if you want to go watch that and how to like properly meditate, but I feel like a lot of people think that you have to be so present and be so like in control of your mind when you're meditating and do it perfectly to have the results you're looking for. And yeah, that's probably how you would get like instant, crazy, like quantum leap results. But I think we should think about meditating more in the way that you think about like going to the gym. And if you can't lift the biggest weights at the gym, you wouldn't think that going to the gym is having no effect. And meditation is the same way. You don't have to do it perfectly in order to see results. It's just about building that skill up and being consistent with it. That's why I recommend starting with like a 15-minute, 30-minute meditation like once a day, something that you can really stick to and continuously do every single day. And once you start to see the results from that, I think that you'll want to spend more time meditating, which is what is happening to me. Now I'm wanting to like rearrange parts of my life so that I can meditate for an hour a day. Also, something that's really important is acting on your intuition and letting your intuition guide you, because if you're just meditating but you're not like following these little intuitive hits that you're getting, you'll probably still feel a lot happier, a lot better, a lot more positive, but you're probably not going to have like really life-changing results. So make sure that you're following the little intuitive hits that you're getting and the urges that you're getting, and try to be in touch with your intuition. Like, I felt very drawn to making YouTube videos, even though logically, like, I don't think I'm the best at making YouTube videos. I don't think I'm the best at speaking, but that's just really what I felt called to do. Or you might feel called to just go to a certain place, even though it makes no sense to you, or to like do a certain thing. And you might not even see why you were compelled to do that until like weeks or months later. But really just try to act on those things and follow your intuition. That's how you're gonna bring in the life that you want. And it's a really important part of the process that I feel like some people might ignore. Week 5, I kind of feel like I backtracked. I was having trouble focusing and being present during meditations. I wasn't able to visualize as well. And I think if meditating is the only time that you're taking to be in silence and be with your thoughts, obviously you're gonna be having wandering thoughts and be thinking about different things during meditation. And I think it's really important to give yourself time to be in silence and to be with your thoughts. So before my nighttime meditations, I shower, and that gives me some time to be with my thoughts. And then I also will journal and just write down all my thoughts about the day and everything, whatever I want to write down, whatever's on my mind, and kind of get it out. And then that helps me to be more present during meditations. And for me in the morning, I'm still kind of like groggy and out of it, and my mind is not as active, so it's not as much of an issue, and I can usually be more present in the morning. So just do whatever works for you. Around week 6, I was having really good meditations again, where I felt very present. It felt like very powerful meditations and would put me in a really good mental state for the rest of the day. Obviously, some days are better than others. Some days I feel really present and feel like I have a great meditation. Some days I feel like I'm having a lot of thoughts, unwanted thoughts, and my mind is really wandering. Try not to view it as like a good or bad thing or like a bad meditation if your mind is wandering a lot, because really the point of meditation is to train your brain. It's like if you were training a dog and it wasn't doing everything perfectly right away, You wouldn't be like, oh, I'm gonna give up, this just isn't working, like it's not doing it right away. You would understand that training a dog takes time and that it's still having results even if you're not seeing them, and that you have to be consistent and just keep doing it, and eventually you will get there. And I think a lot of people view meditation as like this thing that they have to be perfect at for it to be effective, but it's really just about showing up and doing it every day and practicing this as a skill, because it is a skill that you're trying to build, and trying to train yourself to be more present, to be more grateful, whatever it is that you're trying to achieve. And so when your thoughts do wander, it's really just about practicing to get it back to being present, to get it back to being positive. I just used to be such a neurotic, depressed, insecure person. I honestly would say I am like pretty grateful, pretty positive, but it was more like I would flip back and forth between like different extremes. Like I would flip back and forth between depression and being really happy, being really grateful and positive. And now I'm just always positive. I just always see everything in a positive light, and I'm just super grateful for my life and really enjoy and appreciate every second. Throughout my life, I'll get in these like depressive episodes or moods where I get really overwhelmed by having to do like basic tasks. I get really overwhelmed that I have to clean my apartment for the rest of my life, and do dishes for the rest of my life, and do laundry for the rest of my life, and cook every meal and eat every meal. And sometimes I just get really overwhelmed by everything and feel very like depressed and sad. And I know that might sound really strange, but I'm sure there's some people out there who can relate. But ever since I've been meditating, all of the things that sometimes will like stress me out, I really enjoy doing. I live a very like tedious, high maintenance lifestyle, trying to be healthy. I make celery juice every day. I cook healthy meals every day. And I used to really hate washing celery and juicing it and all of that because it's very time consuming, it's very tedious. And since meditating, I really actually enjoy washing celery and doing these simple tasks. And it's just like everything I think about that used to stress me out, that used to make me depressed, that used to put me in a bad mood, now when I think about it, for some reason, I just have like a positive view of everything, and I get excited about everything, and I feel hopeful about everything. And it's like every bad thing that I think about, I am able to like twist it and see it in a positive way. And meditation has just changed my mind so much in that way, and I'm so grateful for it. It's made life so amazing. Sorry this video took me a little while to get up, but I am gonna post a 90-day video soon because I've seen even more results, but I just wanted to talk about what I had seen by 60 days. Thanks so much for watching. I love reading your comments. Please leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and I hope you have an amazing day.